Started slow. We finished strong in the end of the first half. Second half obviously started slow again. I think we had two three and outs, and then obviously the final two drives was we were really efficient, really effective. Got to put the whole game together this week. First drive, was shaky. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And him and I have talked about that at length. After that, he was what I thought he was. You know, I think he was very, very effective. I think he completed just over 62% of his balls. We were efficient on third down. And then the 2 minute drive, at the end of the game, the last two drives, he was very effective. And he didn't do anything out of the ordinary. He just executed the game plan and did his job.
What were some of the issues up front and how have you seen the offensive line respond this week?
I wouldn't really classify them as issues. I think it's just first game. First game is always one of those ones where you really don't know what to expect. I was talking to Coach Fleck this morning about it. It's just the game plan of every first game is always a little bit heavier, and it's a little bit more than what it traditionally is as you go throughout the week. But I think now, as we started to clean up the details and clean up certain things that, and play to the strengths that our guys have up front, they just have to see themselves make mistakes on film and then execute them better leading up into this week. And they have this week in practice. So I wouldn't really classify them as issues. I just think that's things that we have to clean up after week one. It was honestly like, one of the things that I thought that Jeff Collins, I was expecting him to do was a little bit of more split side pressure to the open side, away from the tight end. He didn't do that. He did a ton of things. He did a ton of things, off of the back. It seemed, and we have to be ready for that based off of how teams are pressuring us, and that's why like under center is so important, as well as the shotgun, being able to mix up those types of things within the run game, so teams can't really get a beat on those types of things. He did a good job. Jeff did a good job of preparing for us. And I think our guys did a good job of executing at times. We were inconsistent, and ultimately we have to do a better job of putting our guys in a position to win. The team offensively as a team, we have to put ourselves in a better position to win the game as a team.
If you're going to improve on third down and in the red zone, is it as simple as staying out third and forever?
Yeah, I always say it. I challenged Max. I was like, hey, let's be as efficient as we can on first and second down. Let's see if we can not have third down this week. And so like we always say that as we're going throughout the week when we're game planning third down, and what plays we want to run. And it's kind of just a little bit of humor between Max and I is that we want to stay out of that third and long, third and medium is what it is. That third and six range. That's a manageable third down situation. But we want to be in as many, third and 1 to 4s as we possibly can throughout the entire game. So the encouraging thing, obviously we have the iPads now in game, and it's something that I wouldn't have been able to see in years past. But right when I saw it, I knew he was fine. Like there was no panic because it wasn't his mind that was going too fast. On that particular third down, it was his feet, and he said it right away. He came right to the player phone and said, "My feet were too fast. I'll settle down." And I said I was watching it with him, and like he saw the cloud corner to the field, immediately got to the dig on the backside, and it was fine. It was a very good job by him. He just missed the throw. And then as you saw, as the game went on, there's certain things where he learned throughout the game. When he took a sack, where he realized at that moment there's certain experiences that he has to learn under fire where he can't outrun a certain guy. That's going to happen with anybody. Transitioning, whether they're going from high school to college or transferring up in a division. And so him and I have had those discussions, and he's learned. But it's not one of those things where he has a lot of time to acclimate. He had to learn on the fly right there, and he got better. He got better this week because of it.
So Rhode Island has a couple of active linebackers and some experience on their defensive line.
Yep.
What's impressed you about their defense?
So Jim Fleming and Chris Laurenti, they do a great job. Chris is the defensive coordinator there. AJ Pena does a great job. He's number 8. I believe the defensive end. He usually plays into the boundary. He does an excellent job. He's real active. In their league, they do a really good job of freeing him up on the backside tackle for pass rush, third down situations. That's what I've noticed. And then obviously with Max has played against Rhode Island, 3 or 4 times, and he's had a lot of positive things to say about him. They always had a good plan for him. We watched that game. That game's in our cut-ups, and so it's been cool to hear his perspective on how things change. But they're very, very active. I thought they did a really good job against Holy Cross of making the plays needed when the time was come. They stopped the run really well against them at times, and they were able to stop the pass. That's ultimately why I put them in a position to win the game. But they're very active. I think Chris does a really good job.
How important is it to keep working on the passing game?
It's important. It's important to execute our offense. Every game, we don't want to go into, I said it I think back in spring, I want to be balanced. And that goes for every opponent. This opponent's going to be on the field with us. That's a very worthy opponent to be on the field with us. And we have to be able to go out and execute and do our thing offensively. It didn't I don't think it really affected it. It didn't affect my mindset. It didn't affect Callahan's mindset. Our guys were fine. We just have to be effective and efficient up front. And I don't think it really affected my mindset, and it didn't affect Max's. There's going to be times when you're going to get pressure on the quarterback. When you find out the most about a quarterback is what does he look like in a dirty pocket. Never are you going to have the cleanest pocket possible, and that's when you really find out how good the quarterback is. And he did a good job at that. He stayed cool, he stayed composed, but it doesn't affect our mindset. We have a 1-0 mentality every single play offensively, and we're going to take that approach. Both. You always want to have both of those guys out there. And so I think the run game will be effective regardless of who's out there. We make sure, whoever's getting the ball, we're going to put them in a position to play their strengths. But obviously, we'll be very happy when Darius gets back. And then obviously with Marcus, he did a good job in spots last week, and I think you saw him flash, and you saw his ability, and you saw the way he can play. I'm excited about him, and I'm excited about him taking that next step this week. Yeah, I want to be able to roll those guys in. I think all the way, to JoJo, he has a role. You saw him a lot on third down. He's a very, very smart player, but I want to roll those guys in. I want to let them play. I think we did a very good job as coaches and with our guys of rolling different personnel in there, playing a bunch of guys, and getting them in positions to do what they need to do.
With the helmet communication, how did you feel about the timing from the huddle to the ball, and how much time you were able to maybe have after breaking the huddle and stuff?
It's really cool. When you break the huddle, it was usually right around 6 to 7 seconds. So if I had one little reminder, that's what I knew. During the 2-minute drive, it was really awesome, and the thing was, going into the game, it's almost like being on the sideline, because you if you're on the sideline calling the game, you can't let the emotion of the game get to you. You can't let the players see that. Same thing now with me talking to Max. In that 2-minute drive, I was talking to him the whole time. Not necessarily telling him where to go with the ball. That was not happening. It was more just pre-snap, and then once he got everybody in line, hey, widen this guy out a little bit, hey, we got to move, like things along those lines, where he knows whether it's the urgency in my voice or the calmness in my voice, it helped with that. But that's where it really played a factor, and that's like the advice I got from other people throughout the off season is when you are able to tempo and you are able to change the pace, you do have those extra seconds to be able to talk to the quarterback, maybe get an alignment change if you're in a normal situation. But if you're in a 2-minute, you have to be able to stay real calm and talk to him, because it's just like us talking right here. It's just like I'm standing there, And so I have to have that composure to myself in order for him to stay composed.
Is that something you possibly do more now with the tempo from
We put it in the spring, and it's a part of our offense, just like it is with us huddling. We can do a lot of different things, and that's a credit to Max and the rest of the offense, the ability for them to be able to do a lot of things.
How much of an emphasis is there to not overreact to one game?
It's the next game. I think if I'm going to sit there and preach offensively to our guys, have a 1-0 mentality every single day, I'm going to have that approach this week. Once that game ended, you watch it, you learn from it, you gain experience, and then you move on, and you hope that now, you look at a year ago, we were in that same position. We won the game. And now this year, we're in the same exact position, a night later, and we lost the game. So hopefully our guys learn from it. I know I did, and I know the rest of the staff did, and we just got to put ourselves in a position when we are in that position again, we win the game. Cool. Thanks, guys.
20 missed tackles, which is tied for the most in any flood game in the last 8 years. What went into some of the tackling issues on Thursday?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, first time we're really live tackling, outside of a couple scrimmages in preseason camp. I think, the biggest thing, our guys, lunging, leaving our feet, wasn't really using the system. We start practice every single day with tackling convention, whether it's bite the ball, it's wrap and roll, it's press the hip, it's, what leverage angles we're using. And, that's been the emphasis from day one. And I think you get out there, you play against a really good football team, you play against a good back. He made us miss a couple times, but I think we didn't really trust the system in the game. And that's something that we've emphasized all week once again. It's been the emphasis from day one. And we just got to continue to trust the system, trust the process. And this week, I think we'll get guys down.
Pressures from secondary members. What is the emphasis here?
Say that again.
We saw a lot of pressures coming from the secondary in the opener. Why is that something that you go to often?
I think last week, based on who we were playing, the style of team they were, a new quarterback and a new system, that's what last week we thought fit what we wanted to do. Looking back at it, I think we were happy with the plan. I think we really liked the way that we attacked them. It goes back to really the first question. It's if we go out and we tackle better, we went back and looked at it. We had 22 was what we thought were missed tackles. If we make those tackles at the point of attack, it's under 2 yards of carry. We don't make those plays. It's 3.6, I think was what it was. And that's, to me, the difference in the ball game. We got to make sure if we can emphasize those tackles, we can get guys down. But last week, we liked some of the matchups. We wanted to keep a guy over the top versus some of their receivers, and that's we kept the ball in front of us. I thought we did a good job most of the day executing that, and every week that'll change a little bit how we do it.
Two drives extended by kind of crucial penalties. Just what was the emphasis in that going into this week as well?
Yeah, I think we were aggressive. We challenged them. Last week we came out. We wanted to be very aggressive with our coverage. We challenged them every rep. And the game of football, you could throw that flag every play. One of them I thought was blatant. We've coached that up. We've talked about it. The other one, I thought it was a picky call. It is what it is. Move on. And we're going to continue to challenge receivers. We're going to continue to stay aggressive on defense. We've done different things in practice this week to continue, the hands, the grabbing, the different things. The second one, you really don't even see it on the film. But that's something that we're going to stay aggressive. We're going to continue to do, execute and play the style of defense we want to play. And, they were called in those situations. And obviously one of them, we have the football on the 7 or 8 yard line. That one really hurt us. The other one's a 3rd and 9. We're off the field. We just got to make sure we got to execute better in those situations.
Rhode Island's quarterback Farrell is obviously a dual threat. Good runner, good thrower. Had a good week last week. What have you guys been emphasizing this week in terms of preparing for that?
Yeah, this week it's all 11. And last week it's interesting. Last week we prepared for 2 quarterbacks. One of them we thought would be a runner. The other one we thought would be more of a pocket-style quarterback. So we had a lot of these reps in preseason camp, in the offseason, trying to get ready for North Carolina. Now that he's won the job, we just have to execute versus the quarterback run. They do a lot of different things, whether it's the stretch pullers, reading a nose guard or a 3 technique. They're going to do the counter reading a defensive end or our R or our rush or our end. We got to make sure the perimeter run game, some of the RPOs, they do a really good job of giving him a run pass option. And that's all week. It's almost like triple option football. We got to be disciplined with our eyes. Everyone has to do their job. We have to execute, our responsibility every single play. And he's a good player. I thought he played really well last week. The majority of the offense went through him, whether it was him running the ball or him throwing the ball, and that's been the emphasis. We have to stop him this week. We got to make sure we contain him, keep the ball in front of us, and everyone has to do their job on every play. It's triple option football.
How frustrating was it to only come away with the one turnover with all the opportunities you had, whether through the air or with putting a ball on the ground?
Yeah, the message is, it's row. We got to make sure we got to stay on it. They'll come. We're going to be aggressive. The ball's going to come out. This week, Rhode Island put the ball on the ground 6 times last week. There were opportunities to have, interceptions. Holy Cross left a couple on the field, I thought. Same thing. We had a couple opportunities where I thought, the quarterback puts the ball out one time. I thought we could have gotten the ball. We missed it. There were a couple blitz angles. I thought we could have had a better shot at making the play, some of the details within it. And, they're going to come. We're going to continue to emphasize the ball. We talk about that every single day in practice, is capitalizing on the opportunities, making sure we want to be obsessed with the football. We want to punch it out. We want to get it out. When the ball's in the air, we want to go high point it and attack the ball. We're going to continue to make that as a major emphasis, the number one thing, every week going into it, and we'll make sure we get the ball out.
What's you talking about? Some of those missed tackles is just quality.
Yeah, we're going to watch that guy play football for a long time, I think. He's a very good back, but it really is. Like, when you go back and watch it, and we've pulled a lot of the guys that missed the tackles, and we went back to last season, against very good backs. We're going to see those backs every week. The Big Ten, you're going to see that guy all the time. And we went back and we pulled the clips last year against the elite backs in the Big Ten, us making that same exact tackle. And it's, sometimes it's a confidence piece. Sometimes it's just getting back into the routine. We've repped it in practice over and over again, constantly trying to bite the ball in different situations, whether it's we're scraping off the shelf or we're coming off a block or what angle we're coming at. A wrap and roll, we're trying to make sure we're pinning the knees, the different angles that you could have that tackle. And, it's something we've repped all year. We're going to continue to rep it. And to me, it's a little bit of a confidence piece, first time back in. And, this week we'll make sure we clean that up.
Where are the biggest areas you want to see your linebackers grow from week 1 to week 2?
I thought we fit things very well. There were a couple, I thought we could have fit a little bit better. I thought we were in the position to make the plays. We just have to make sure we're making the plays now. And it's the details. It's your bend. It's your pad level. It's tearing off a block with a little bit better leverage at times. It's anticipating that ball to show up off the shelf at times, or anticipating that ball to show up a little bit faster. The first time you play that real game speed, that thing plays a click faster than what we see in practice. And, just seeing it and now getting a better feel for it, I think our guys will play that much faster this week. But, the things we talked about, it was, the eye discipline, the pad level, the block destruction, the tackling. Those are the things that this week, we've harped on all week in practice, just making sure those details were a little bit better. Then the last thing is really the blitz angles, just making sure we're seeing our key, we're staying tight, or, depending where we are, leverage on the quarterback, whether we're the strike player, we're the quarterback player, where our eyes are, where our details are. We want to make sure we get that cleaned up this week, and we've made an emphasis in blitz circuits and tackling circuits and, every little thing that we've practiced this week.
Do you think philosophically this could be a data point for, say, next fall camp, where do we need to do more live hitting, or is it still just not worth the risk of injury?
Yeah, I think we got to take care of the players. We've had a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, and some of the guys, when you look at it, they haven't played. It's the first time they're out there, in live football, trying to make those plays in a game situation with a sold-out stadium. So everyone's a little bit different, and I think we get those reps for the guys that haven't had those reps. Some of the other guys, I thought we did a good job of, getting them the reps they needed in camp. And I thought, I think they've been prepared. I think they've been put in situations, and, it's the first game. I mean, you see it on Sunday in the NFL. You see it all over college football last week. You see it in high school football. And, I think that's something that from week 1 to week 2, we'll make improvements in all those areas.
I know it's been a few years since you were a coordinator. Is there anything that you needed to refresh yourself with in the role?
It was a little different being back down on the field after 2 years. But no, I think, I thought the game went smooth. I thought, handling their tempo, handling them transitioning from different packages of personnel, getting our different, subbing, getting different personnel on the field. I thought that part of the game, I thought we transitioned very well. And every week you always wish you had one call different, or the 1/3 and 9, I wish I made a different call. And I think that's always part of the game. They made a good call. They picked us up. They went 7-man pro. It's a 1/3 and 5 plus. They converted all day. So there's always going to be that. Looking back at it, studying it. Okay, what did they see in that play? What did we miss? But overall, I thought the first game, there's things we're going to learn from. There's things that will improve everywhere, from the players to the staff to how we ran the whole operation on the defensive side of the ball. But, from game 1 to game 2, I was, there's definitely things we can fix, things we can improve on. But I thought overall, we were pretty happy with the process. Now we just got to go out and we got to get a better result.
What do you like to call the game from the sideline versus up in the booth?
I think you just get a better feel for it. I think just being with the players, being able to communicate, getting a feel on the field, getting a feel, in the atmosphere, from the players rather than a headset and sitting up looking down at everything. Just the way I feel about it. I know everyone's a little bit different. I've done both. Yeah, I've done both. The last 2 years I was up in the box. Obviously last week I was down on the field. As the season goes, we'll continue to figure out which one works best with our personnel and, with both our staff and our players. But that's what we decided to do last week.
Greg mentioned that he likes to do it in the booth because it takes away the kind of emotion of getting caught up in it. Is that a concern for you, or is that something you like to do?
I think you can kind of play that both ways. I mean, sometimes you get a feel for what the guys like. Sometimes you get a feel for how your guys are reacting to certain things. Being able to communicate with them and, see their faces and see their reactions. It might be like, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't like that call. Maybe we like this call a little bit better, or maybe we want to not be as aggressive here. Maybe we want to be a little bit more aggressive. How do we come out the first series? How are we feeling after the opening kickoff? How do we feel, taking the field in that first play? Or, every different situation I think has something a little bit different. Up top, you don't get that feel, but up top, I think you're going to see everything. So to me, there's a positive and a negative to both. Last week we chose to go down. This week, probably going to be the same thing, but we'll figure that out as we get closer to game day. Last week I thought we had a good feel for it down there.
Is there a sense of urgency when you are on the sideline that maybe you need to be eye-to-eye contact with a player that is a huge plus that is obviously lost?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, just making sure the guys, they're urgent. And like a team like last week, like North Carolina's going to go unbelievably fast. They get 6 yards on first down, they're lined up on the ball. They convert a third down, they're lined up on the ball. Even like that first backed up, they went from second to third down off track. We're subbing personnel, and they're standing on the ball, and we get our guys on and off, and it has to be right now. And our guys did an unbelievable job responding and making sure we were ready for every situation. But that's something, I felt last week we felt better on the field, being able to make sure we could get that stuff communicated, getting that stuff executed. And every week's going to be a little bit different as, depending on how certain teams attack you, how certain teams go, the style of tempo they play at. That was just how we thought. And going back to, 2023 Carolina versus 2024, where they had some of their success, things that we wanted to make sure we emphasized to make sure we took that away. I thought that's something that this year we did a good job taking some of those things away from them.
A couple more if anyone's got them? No? All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.